Never miss your stop at 3 a.m. Or, I have worked the overnight bus route for almost 11 years. And if there's one rule every experienced driver follows, it's this. Never stop between mile marker 214 and Blackwood Bridge after 3 a.m. The company calls it an unsafe section due to wildlife. The older drivers never use that explanation. They simply say, if someone rings the bell after 3, keep driving. I laughed the first time I heard it. I don't laugh anymore. My name is Daniel Brooks. And this happened during the winter of 2023 on Route 17. The last bus leaving Ashford City every night at 1:40 a.m. The trip usually took just under 2 hours. Most passengers were factory workers, nurses, airport employees, or college students trying to get home by 2:45 a.m. Only 4 passengers remained, an elderly woman sleeping near the front, a young couple quietly watching videos on a phone, and a man sitting alone in the very last row. I hadn't noticed him bored. That wasn't unusual. People often entered while I was helping other passengers. Something about him bothered me. Every time I checked the rear view mirror, he was sitting perfectly still, hands folded, head lowered. He never looked out the window, never checked a phone, never moved, At exactly 2:58 a.m., snow began falling. The road ahead disappeared beneath thick white flakes. The radio filled with static before going completely silent. Then, ding. Someone had pressed the stop request button. I glanced in the mirror. The elderly woman was asleep. The couple hadn't moved. The man in the last seat remained perfectly still. I ignored it. There wasn't a scheduled stop for another 6 miles. 10 seconds later, ding. The stop bell rang again. This time the display above my head flashed. Next stop, Arikusted. The couple looked around. Confused, the young woman called toward the front. We didn't press it. The old woman continued sleeping. I looked back one more time. The man in the last row was staring directly at me. I don't know when he'd lifted his head. His face looked strangely pale beneath the flickering cabin lights. When our eyes met in the mirror, he smiled. Not a friendly smile. A slow, impossible smile. One that stretched far wider than any human face should. I nearly slammed on the brakes. Instead, I gripped the steering wheel tighter. 3 minutes. Just 3 more minutes until the next official stop. The bell rang again. Ding. Then again. Ding. And again. Ding. The sound echoed through the empty bus until it became almost rhythmic. The elderly woman suddenly woke. She looked toward the back of the bus. The color drained from her face. Oh no, I heard her whisper. He's back. I frowned. What? She hurried toward the front without answering. When she reached the driver's barrier, she leaned close enough for only me to hear. Don't stop. I forced a smile. Ma'am, everything's fine. She shook her head violently. No. Her eyes never left the mirror. If he asks to get off before the bridge, she swallowed hard. Don't open the door. Before I could respond, the man spoke. His voice came from the very back. Soft, calm, almost gentle. Driver. Every passenger froze. I missed my stop. His words sent chills crawling across my arms. The elderly woman covered her ears. Keep driving. The couple looked completely confused. The young man stood, "Sir, there's another stop ahead." The stranger answered without moving. "My stop is behind us, double quotes, silence, then. I have to go back." Outside, the snowfall became so heavy I could barely see the road. The GPS screen turned black. Every dashboard light flickered once, twice, then stabilized. The bus heater shut off. Cold air rushed through the cabin. My breath became visible. The young woman wrapped her coat around herself. "Why is it so cold?" Nobody answered. I checked the clock. 3 o'clock. The digital numbers froze. They never changed again. Not for the next hour. The stop bell rang once more. Ding. This time, every light inside the bus went out. Only the headlights remained. The darkness lasted barely 2 seconds. When the lights returned, the last row was empty. The man had disappeared. The couple gasped. I thought he was. The young man stopped speaking because someone was now standing beside the rear exit, the same man. He hadn't walked there, no. One had seen him move. He simply wasn't in his seat anymore. He stood beside the closed doors with his hands folded behind his back, looking directly at me. Smiling. "Please," he whispered, "you missed my stop." Then every stop request light on the bus illuminated at once. One after another, ding, every bell in the bus rang together until the sound became unbearable. The elderly woman began praying. The couple held each other in terrified silence. The stranger never blinked, never moved, only smiled. Then he slowly raised one pale hand and pointed through the windshield. I looked up, my heart nearly stopped. Someone was standing in the middle of the snow-covered road. A little girl, barefoot, wearing an old white dress. She wasn't moving. She wasn't shivering. She simply stared at the approaching bus as I slammed my foot onto the brakes. The stranger behind me began to laugh, a quiet, hollow laugh that echoed through the freezing cabin. And the bus started sliding across the ice, straight toward the girl. Asterisk, never miss your stop at 3 a.m. Horror Part 2. The brakes locked instantly. The steering wheel shook violently in my hands as the bus skidded across the ice. The headlights reflected off the frozen road, turning everything into a blur of white and black. The little girl never moved. She stood in the middle of the highway with her head slightly tilted, her long black hair covering most of her face. "Move!" I shouted, even though I knew she couldn't hear me. The passengers screamed. The tires lost all grip. For one terrifying second, I was certain we were going to hit her, then she vanished. Not by running, not by stepping aside. She simply wasn't there anymore. The bus slid through the exact spot where she had been standing and finally came to a stop. Only a few feet before the rusted sign that read, Blackwood Bridge, 1, may only the engine died. Every light went out. Only the emergency lights cast a faint red glow through the cabin. No one spoke. I looked in the rear view mirror. The smiling man was gone. His place beside the exit was empty. I let out a shaky breath. Maybe it was over. Then I heard it. A slow knocking sound, not from outside, from underneath. The bus, knock, something was hitting the metal floor from below, The elderly woman grabbed my arm so tightly that her nails dug into my skin. "Don't open the door," she whispered. The knocking continued. slow, patient, moving from the back of the bus toward the front, knock, It sounded as though someone was crawling beneath the vehicle, dragging their hands across the frozen road. The young man stood up. I'm getting out. His girlfriend grabbed his jacket. No, we could freeze in here. He ignored her. Before I could stop him, he pulled the emergency release handle. The rear doors hissed open. A blast of icy wind rushed inside. Outside. There was no road. No bridge. No snow. Only thick gray fog stretching in every direction. What the... He whispered. He stepped onto the pavement. His girlfriend screamed for him to come back. He took another step, then another. Within seconds, the fog swallowed him completely. We couldn't see him anymore. Honey? The young woman called. No answer. She shouted louder. Still nothing. Then from somewhere deep inside the fog. We heard his voice. I'm okay. Relief washed across her face. I'm over here. His voice sounded strangely distant. Almost stretched. She smiled. I'm coming. The elderly woman blocked the doorway. That's not him. The young woman pushed past her. Move. No. It's calling you. Before anyone could stop her, she jumped off the bus and disappeared into the fog. Silence. The old woman closed the doors. Immediately, I locked them. Neither of us spoke. 5 minutes passed. Nothing. Then we heard footsteps. Running. Fast. Someone was racing toward the bus. The young woman pounded on the door. Open it. She looked terrified. Her face was covered with tears. Behind her, the fog began moving, not drifting, walking. Dozens of dark human-shaped silhouettes slowly emerged. None of them had faces. They moved without making a sound. The woman screamed. They're coming. She beat her fists against the glass. Please. The elderly passenger refused to look. She kept repeating the same words over and over. If you open that door, they all come in. The woman outside cried harder. I can hear them. The shadows stopped only a few feet behind her. Perfectly still. Waiting. I reached for the door switch. Every instinct told me to help her. Then the smiling man's voice echoed through the bus. You'll make room for us. I spun around. He was sitting in the last row again, exactly where he'd been when the trip began. Hands folded. Head lowered. As though he had never moved. The woman outside kept screaming. The passengers looked at me. Waiting. Depending on me. I made my choice. I drove. The engine roared back to life without me turning the key. The bus lurched forward. The woman chased us for several seconds, her desperate cries fading into the storm. Then she disappeared into the fog. No one spoke for the next 20 minutes. When the fog finally cleared, Blackwood Bridge stood ahead of us. Except it wasn't the bridge. I knew the steel railings were rusted beyond recognition. Ancient cars sat, abandoned across the roadway, covered in thick layers of ice. Some had their doors hanging open. Others still had suitcases inside. One school bus rested sideways across the far lane. Its windows were shattered. Every seat was empty. The digital clock above my dashboard still read 3 o'clock. It had never changed. As we crossed the center of the bridge, the smiling man stood up for the first time. Very slowly. Every joint in his body cracked as though he hadn't moved in years. He looked directly at me. This, he whispered, is my stop.